And welcome into the Oklahoma studios, Rachel Cannon. Hey,
Hi.
It's great to meet you.
Thank you.
I guess a couple things to start off with. Star of Fresh Off the Boat, among many productions that you have seen from the Hollywood side of things. But now we're going to get the Oklahoma side of things in the future, I think. A couple things off the top. Thing one, thanks so much for your time.
Of course, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
And very nice to meet you. But thing two, congratulations on your career.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I'm reading through this, and the ABC series Fresh Off the Boat just wrapped up last week. So that's fresh news right there. Congratulations on that. But your resume just continues to go and go as I'm doing the research of you, and some upcoming productions with Lance McDaniel, which we'll get into in a second. Great. Send Me Wings, so some things to look forward to there.
Yes.
But again, congrats on your career.
Thank you so much. You know, I've moved out there right after college, so I was in Los Angeles for 19 years pursuing acting. I didn't know anybody when I got out there, so it was just, you know, knocking on doors and having a good work ethic.
How do you do that? Because I mean, you hear the romantic Hollywood story of hey, I left Oklahoma, which by the way, Oklahoma native, right?
Yes.
UConn,
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
UConn High School, then
INS.
OU, and then Hollywood.
That's a natural progression,
so you're
right?
thinking, yeah, Rachel, I'm going to go out to Hollywood.
Yeah.
That sounds daunting.
Well, I mean, I always loved entertaining. I, you know, had my first ballet recital when I was 3, and it just felt like a good fit on the
Were you ever
stage.
nervous about that?
My ballet recital?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, some kids are like, oh, I don't want to be in front of the audience. They may like what they're doing, but the lights and the stage, but
No.
not you.
No, I loved it.
You're like, bring it on.
I was like, bring it on. And I traded in my my point shoes for a cheerleading skirt in the
Okay.
8th grade. Not quite sure that was
What
good, but I mean, I did get out before my feet got all like.
What did the parents think about that?
I think they were
Did
excited.
they want
Like,
you to pursue a specific genre of ballet or cheerleading? Hey, she's fine, she's
No.
happy, good for her.
yeah, my parents have always been incredibly supportive of just whatever your dreams are, we'll support them. So they just, you know,
That's pretty important,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what did they think when you said, hey, Hollywood?
That would be the one dream that they were just like, should we talk about this?
Yeah. Should we sit down, maybe have a glass of iced tea or something and say,
Yeah.
we think this is a
Rethink
good idea?
this? You know, I went to college. I was a cheerleader in college. I studied film and television at the University of Oklahoma.
Why film and television?
Oh, I knew in high school that I wanted to go out to Los Angeles and pursue acting, but I wanted a couple of more years close to family. So that's why I stayed here and went to
Okay.
college. And plus, growing up, like I had to go to OU. Like I had to have that
Did the
crimson and
family
cream
go,
uniform.
or that's just what you grew up? You grew up a Sooner fan, or did you have a personal family went there connection?
I did cheerleading camp there.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
like all through high school, and it just was, it's the only place I applied.
This is the
It's
place
the
I
only
need to
place
be.
I wanted to go. When I made the Pom Squad, it was just like, I mean, like walking out
Well, that's
on
a big
that
deal
fi-
too, so congrats on
huge.
that.
Thank
20
you.
years later or whatever, congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you.
I only mentioned 20 because she said in the pre-interview something about 20-year career, so that's why I'm
About
throwing
20.
that number out.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm not afraid of how old. Like in Hollywood, nobody tells their age, and they try and fight that. I don't care. I've earned all of this.
I have a birthday this week, and I'm like, I've reached that level. It's level 46. That's where
Right?
I'm at.
And you're like, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
You look good for 46.
Well, thank you. I
You're
appreciate
rocking
that.
it.
I'm happy to have birthdays, right?
Better than the alternative.
Okay, so Hollywood, you get out there, and then what?
Yeah.
Did you find it difficult, or did you like, hey, this is my element. I feel comfortable working.
You know, I had done one acting workshop in college with Chris Freihofer. Shout out to my buddy. I had done one casting workshop with him where there was a woman, Jo Edna Bolden, who was a casting director in Austin, who had come in. That was the only workshop that I did in Oklahoma before moving out to California. And I remember Jo Edna gave me, after I did my scene, she scribbled down a name and a number and said, when you get to California, this is an agent, you should look him up and talk to him.
Wow,
I was
that's
like, great, I got a lead. That's more than anything else.
Right.
And so when I got to Los Angeles, I, call this number and I said, hey, Jo Edna Bolden said that I should come and talk to you. So we set an appointment. I put my white suit on. I'm ready to go. I walk into his office and he goes, oh, you are so green. I was like, I don't know what that means. Is that a compliment? It's
Tell me
not.
more.
Yeah. So he, we talked for a second. He was like, well, here's a list of all of these things that you need to do before I can represent you.
Now, what might be on this list?
So get a SAG card. Do you know how hard that is?
Is
like
it hard?
to just, yes, it is nearly, like people are worked 20 years and they don't get a SAG card. Like it's very difficult. Get into to an improv class, take an acting class, get new headshots because yours are terrible. Burn that suit because that is not going to work. Like it was such a ridiculous list of things that would take a really, really long time to accomplish. And so, I am a type A, so I love a good list. And I
I
called.
was about to say, how does Rachel handle that? Is this a challenge? This is awesome. I'm gonna
loved
knock
it.
these out, or
Told me exactly what I needed to do.
so it wasn't deflating in any way.
No, I did it in 30 days. And I called him back and I said, okay,
Done.
I'm ready, so let's do this. And we worked together. His name was Todd Justice, and we worked together for like 10 years. Still a good friend of
So
mine.
was Todd right? You did need to do those things?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really able to get me auditions until I had some of this other experience. Because while going to the University of Oklahoma was an incredible education for me, it doesn't really prep you to like step right into the industry in front of the camera. So
What could, though, right?
nothing does.
You need experience.
Nothing does. You have to do these other things that can help kind of develop the chops that you need. And so I went out. He started getting me auditions. There was one office that I feel like I did pretty good in, where I would go in and I would get laughs because I really focused on comedy at first. I would get laughs, but I wouldn't get the job because I couldn't get to the second casting director, the partner in that office. And so I found where she was doing a casting workshop, signed up, went to that. Once I made her laugh, she was like, well, Rachel Cannon, where have you been? I was like, strangely, I have been in your office with your partner.
Been here before.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
so she brought me in. I booked my first job that week.
Awesome.
Brought me in for Cuts, which was actually with Meghan Markle, who is now
Yeah.
the Duchess.
Yeah. Are you
So-
still in touch with Megan at all?
Nope.
You guys tight?
No, well, actually, we became really good friends through mutual boyfriends at one point in Hollywood.
Very nice. Interesting. We were talking also before we got started the importance of connections, and let's just segue there.
everything.
How important are connections? Because it seems like that's kind of the lifeblood of
Yeah.
how things happen.
You know, there are so many incredibly talented people in Los Angeles. So it's not like the ones that you see on television are representative of the top talent in the city. There are incredible actors that just never get the break because they never meet the right person. They never get in front of the right room. They never catch that break. But that's kind of the thing about Los Angeles is that, everybody who is in their town, like the best actor, the best person in the theater program, they all go out to Los Angeles, right? So if you imagine the density of that, So you just have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to make good work connections. You have to have a good work ethic. You have to have a good reputation because that precedes you in the rooms. If and also like auditions aren't really about getting that job. It's about making an impression so that you either get that one or that leads to another one. I can't tell you how many times I went into a room and that led to something 5 years later or 6 years later.
It's good to know and good to keep in mind for all of us, just in life.
That's for any jobs, right?
Right.
Like, yeah.
I would assume so. I think you're right about that. So, let's kind of jump forward here. You're
Sure.
just wrapping up the ABC series Fresh Off the Boat, and I'll say once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Friday night, what were you doing as it aired?
Well, I was sitting with my family watching, just put my little boy to sleep, and my husband and I sat on the couch with a glass of wine and watched the end of an era. I mean, it was
And what were
very
you thinking?
bittersweet.
I hate to say, how did you feel about that? But this is kind of an emotional,
Yeah. I mean, it's been, 6 seasons is an eternity for primetime television these days. I feel like nobody gets the chance to end a show. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just, well, it gets canceled and
Yeah.
you just don't come back, and so they just kind of leave you hanging. This one, we actually got to wrap up the series. We actually got to put a button on it and end it. I think this show is so important in the representation of other people.
Yeah.
I think it really, just knocked down the doors for diversity in Hollywood, and I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to be a part of a show that was that fought to tell different stories.
good timing for that too. A timely conversation to have on a show.
Yeah, it was really important. And our writing room was incredibly diverse, so seeing them all step up and get to tell their stories and just put an Asian American spin on it, but they all got to represent their childhoods growing up and being able to tell different stories, so that it's not just seeing them as the sidekicks.
Right.
It's important.
So you mentioned your 3-year-old was in bed as you
Yes.
and the husband watched it. So let's get into the family stuff. What's Rachel up to
the good
these
stuff.
days?
Mom life.
Yeah?
It's great. It's the best role I've ever had. I waited a little while because I think I wanted to really kind of get into a certain place in my career where when I stepped aside to have a family, that I wouldn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And if you talk to me literally 20 minutes before having the baby, I was like, okay, so we're going to wrap this thing up, and then 6 weeks, I'm going to be back in my skinny jeans, and then we're going to be back on a series and back. And the second he was born, I was just like, whoa.
Oh, that's great.
I'm going to need a minute.
Yeah.
Just to sit here.
Your husband, Noah, how long have you guys been together?
I think it's been about 8 years now.
How'd you guys meet?
Feels like my whole life.
Not to get too personal here, but
how did we meet?
We talked about connections earlier.
So, fellow Oklahoman.
Okay.
Todd Oney, a guy that I went to college with. We were good friends, and I was at a show, a rock and roll show, that my husband was his partner. My husband was sitting in playing slide guitar for a show, and I was just like, who's that guy? That was
nice. So Noah still performs, by the way. Shout out Noah Ng will be at Pony Boy this Wednesday.
Yes, he will.
He will be performing with Luke Dick, and speaking of conversations, Luke, a filmmaker as well, and
my high school buddy.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing how things kind of.
It's the Oklahoma way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. The differences of LA and Oklahoma from what you've experienced.
Yeah. The main difference I feel like is in Los Angeles, everybody needs to be able to kind of compartmentalize and put you in a box somewhere. So when I went out to Los Angeles and I, started auditioning for things, I felt like I had to kind of say goodbye to dramas and films for a moment, just to say, you know what, I'm the comedy girl. So that then all of the casting directors started focusing on, oh, well, let's bring Rachel in. She does comedy. And so I quickly became one of the go-to comedy girls, just because I was willing to step aside from the other stuff. And I feel like in Los Angeles, people need to know you as one thing, because if you do too many things, it kind of muddies the water. What I love about Oklahoma is it's such a yes state. You have a dream and you say, this is what I want to do. And Oklahoma just jumps behind you and they're like, that's great. Yes, you should do that. And how can I help?
Do you think it's changed in Oklahoma over the years, that it's developed into the possibility of, yes, let's do that?
Yeah, I think there's more fire here now, but I think Oklahoma's there's always been that work ethic here, that I feel like people in Oklahoma just show up and they do the work, and that's something I'm proud to be from. I think it's what got me very far in my career in Los Angeles, is that I always showed up and I did the work and I made a good impression and I was invited back.
I was looking at your Instagram feed, and perhaps we can get in some social media. You a social media person? Do you like social media? Do you avoid social media?
I do social media.
You do social media.
How about that as an answer?
Probably a good answer for
right?
that. On your Instagram feed, you had a picture of you and Matt Payne with Gray Frederickson.
Yes.
Inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, I believe, was that photo.
Mm-hmm.
What is the importance of mentors, and your thoughts on being able to find a mentor along the way and just learn?
It's everything. So Matt Payne is my business partner and also a good friend of mine. We went to film school together. We both were learning screenwriting and production, and it was a great education. The second Gray Frederickson came to town and Andy Horton announced that, I was like, I think we should go see if he needs interns. So we went and knocked on his door at Ackerman and McQueen at the time, and just asked if he needed unpaid interns, and he is still unpacking his boxes, like literally. And he was just like, well, sure. And I don't think he really had an agenda for, or a curriculum kind of designed for it, but that was the greatest gift, because we literally got to sit in his office and he told us incredible stories about being on The Godfather and Apocalypse Now and The Good, Bad, and the Ugly and all these iconic films. And he taught us how to do script coverage. He taught us how to do production budgets. Like the things that actually prepped me for working in the industry mostly came from Gray. You know, you get a lot of theory and stuff in film school, but the tactical stuff that actually prepared me to work in the industry came from Gray.
Looks like you put in the shoe leather to actively find that information. Something inside you said, hey, I need to know more than I know right now, and I can do that through a guy like Gray.
This guy's got an Academy Award.
Oh,
seems like the guy, right? And he was, and he was a wonderful mentor, and he has remained such a good friend. And yeah, it's been invaluable. It was really a wonderful moment, full circle moment, to get to see him be inducted. He's done so much work for the state of Oklahoma and for Oklahoma film. He's really paved the way for people to step in and do something, to layer on top of that.
For sure, agree 100%. We'll get back to Matt in a second as we take a look at what Rachel Cannon has upcoming. But speaking of friends, one of my friends, Lance McDaniel, is someone you worked with on Send Me Wings. I guess my hesitation there is it finished? Is it ready to go? Where are we at the status of Send Me Wings? It's being shopped at film festivals, right?
Yep,
okay.
We're taking it in the film festival circuit right now. So Lance approached me to do he wanted me to produce and star in this short film that he was in the midst of getting up and going. I read the script, absolutely fell in love with the premise. I ended up coming on as a co-writer, and we constructed, because it's a short film, which I'd never really done before, so instead of getting to tell the whole story, you just get to tell a little slice of the story. So figuring out which slice we wanted to tell. And it was an incredible experience. It's the smallest crew I've ever worked with, which was also very...
Did you like that?
Yes, but it was very intimate, which the role actually requires. So the project is a very intimate story about a woman and her journey. So it was important to have that, but I mean, there's literally 5 of us. So it's 1577 Productions. So we've got Chris and Dave, Lance,
great guys,
me, and Brad Jennings was our sound guy. And Andy Ricketts was my hair and makeup. So 6.
I was watching The Irishman. Finally saw that on Netflix this weekend.
Did it take you like a week to watch?
It's like, oh, this is a really long movie. And then afterwards, it had the behind-the-scenes kind of conversation with Scorsese and the 3 main actors there. But they talked about the aging process, what went into that, and that each camera had 3 lenses. So Joe Pesci was like, I know I'm not supposed to look at the camera, but which one am I not supposed to look at? Because there's nothing but cameras. So that's like the ultimate production versus what you're looking at with Send Me Wings, more of a stripped down version.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice, because I've done the network television shows where you've got hundreds of people on set and you trying to remember everybody's names and what everybody does. Right. I knew all their names. There were only 5 of them. That was easy. But it was a great experience. We have wrapped it up. It's filmed. It's finished. It's edited. It is beautiful. It is an extraordinary little story, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. We did get into the Branson Film Festival.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Again.
Yeah.
This whole segment should be #congrats.
Congrats. So we will probably be premiering it there. Hopefully we'll get to show it at Dead Center and a few other places.
Well, I think you know someone at Dead Center, so.
I think we got some connections over there. We'll see.
Probably so. Okay, so let's land the plane on this conversation. Again, we've been chatting with Rachel Cannon, Oklahoma native, Hollywood star. But your, I guess, next few steps, perhaps back home.
The industry's changed a little bit, and the great thing is that I started auditioning for a lot of things that were not really in Los Angeles anymore, which opened up a conversation once I became a mom to really sit, like I was doing a series in Chicago, I did a series in Atlanta. Everything that I was auditioning for was in a different state. Like, streaming has changed everything. Streaming is where, you don't just have shows that are in Los Angeles anymore, but productions are being pushed all over the United States to wherever these production hubs are. And so I just, woke up one morning and I was like, if I'm gonna jump on a plane to go shoot my next series, why wouldn't I just go back home and let my little boy grow up in the city that I love like I did? And so we bought a house here. We're spending a lot of our time here. We travel back and forth for work. It has been wonderful because it's like I get to vacation in my city. So when I go back to LA, we get to go to the beach, we go to Disneyland, we see friends.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then we come home and leave all of that traffic there.
Yeah, something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Traffic, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so I put myself on tape for auditions. I'm doing Skype sessions with directors, and it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are anymore because the industry has changed so much.
Well, and I think you've been, from what I'm hearing, very smart about positioning yourself to take advantage of those things. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for
Thank
that.
you so much.
So up next, I
Yeah.
believe you're partnering with the aforementioned Matt Payne.
Matt Payne.
Can't mention too much about it
We'll come
just
back.
yet, but stay tuned.
We have started a business that is an Oklahoma-based film business, and we would love to come back and talk about it. But yeah, I mean, we both spent our decades in Los Angeles, and we are really looking to kind of help take Oklahoma to the next level
Awesome.
in film.
Well, you're certainly welcome here.
Thank
we
you.
look forward to hearing more about that. Again, Rachel Cannon, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to meet you.